herself.
Oh, Janice, we're so happy to have you here.
Yeah. Oh, well,
It's
you know,
great.
it's great to be here. I'm usually moderating from where I live now in Virginia, and I miss moderating. So I'll be back again at it next week. But it's really fun to be here and to work with you, Kate, and to see everyone.
It's great to have you back, always.
To smell the beads and the creativity here, because I miss it.
Yeah,
I miss it.
We miss you.
But I like Virginia.
Yes,
so,
and you're super happy back there, and
I am.
We're
but I'm super happy to be here
Yeah.
and to say hi to everybody, and you know, reach out and bring a project that really has been so fun getting together.
This is epic, is what it is. Well, Janice, we have everybody jumping on and saying hello. Everyone's all here. Emily, whoever that is. Our Emily's going to be here doing some moderating, and I know Geeta is on as beadshop.com, and we also have the computer up and running on YouTube. So we've got all of you here. So it's great to have all of you guys.
So who are some of the people that are joining on YouTube?
Well, we've got Terry, we've got Nancy,
and Ma. Hi, Ma. Is it Ma? I guess it's Ma Padwina?
No, it's
Ms.
Yes.
It's my glasses. I'm sorry.
It's good to see you guys.
Ma, hi, Ma.
Yeah, and we've got everyone jumping on. Bonnie's here, and Carol's here, and my mom's here, and Kim Crawford's here.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Gwenny.
Everyone's here. It's great.
Hi,
Allie's here. Great. It's great to have everybody.
Yeah, it's exciting you all tuned in today, because I know today is a sad day for America. You know, we're saying goodbye
to a former leader of ours, and so, but we are persevering through.
We are.
And going to create something exciting and lovely.
Yes.
So, we have this collection. Now, you guys, I wanted to say just real quick, you know, if you open your newsletters this morning, you saw that we have a limited edition curated collection that you made for this, Janice, right?
Correct.
And it's going fast. So if we have about a third of what we have
We're
left.
sounding like the Home Shopping Network.
We do. Hey, except we don't have that big hair, right?
Hey,
right.
Hey,
here we go.
We're
Home
down
shopping.
We're down
to 30
20
kits.
units.
Yes,
20
It
units.
actually is about 30, I think, now. But we do have a recipe that's going to go up. So if you're watching this later and you're like, oh man, I missed this collection, I'm never going to be able to make this. Not true. We have some guidelines there, and we have a great section of what we call our tribal and trade beads. We have a wonderful section of our earth and gemstones, so you'll be able to kind of take our recipe as a guide, look at what Janice has done with some of her things. We've got some other projects that we're going to share with you, and you're going to be able to create your own excitement with this. So don't worry. If you miss out on the kit and are super bummed, we've got more kits, not this one, but we've got more planned, so don't you worry.
There'll be more coming
this won't be the last.
You're working on one now as well,
Even
which
as we
is very,
speak.
very exciting. But this one I started collecting in August.
In August, you did.
And I assembled enough to make 100 kits. That was it.
That was it.
And so we put it on sale this morning, and we're down to...
Yeah, we have about 30 left, I think,
30
right
left.
now.
And I want to say I worried over every bead, every single. I'm the one, because I assembled it in Virginia.
Janice assembled these at
I
home.
weighed all the beads. I took the beads, the main focal beads, and I paired them. I looked at each one of the pendants, and I picked the best of the pendants, and then sent back some that were unacceptable, and that's why we could only, it was because we could only get
we could only source
100
materials
of
for 100.
the Layla pendants, the Buddha,
Buddha,
and then also the impression jasper you know,
barrels.
the barrel beads. We
And
could only get so many. So.
We're going to turn the camera around, you
Yeah.
guys, so you're going to look at everything that's in here. But I'll tell you that it's no surprise that this kit is so lovely because,
Yeah.
you know, when Janice palettes and when she creates her pieces, she kind of gets, for lack of a better word, kind of down and dirty with those beads, right? You look at every bead that's on the strand and you start picking out the exact ones that you like. And so I think that, like for those of you, you may have strands of really pretty things at home that you're like, oh, these beads are so precious,
Right.
I can't cut them up. You know what? You have to cut them up.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
In order to kind of make your little palette. And again, when we turn the camera, you're going to be able to see the palette. And this is kind of how you laid it out at home when you were working, Janice,
I did,
right?
yes, yes.
So, well, let's do another quick hello to everybody. People are loving the kit. They love it, love it.
Like Sharon, I ordered mine at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. That's so great. Well, shall we turn this around?
Yeah,
and
let's get
you
the
can
party
see
started.
What's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that here. Let's bring this over. And I'm going to go ahead and get this started here. I'm going to lock that in. And so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. So just bear with us as we get everything all taken care of. And Brandon's going to plug in, so we've got plenty of room here. And then just bear with us. We'll be on our way. Yes, it's gonna
Can
be
we see it now?
amazing.
Can we see the necklace now? Let me move it over here so everyone can see it. There we go. Maybe we can get in a little.
You can zoom in tighter. I was
Zoom
just
in.
giving
Okay.
you the
Okay.
kind of the
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm an old dog that it's hard to learn new tricks. Really,
No.
truly. Is anyone else out there my age? Anyone?
Yes. You know a bead lady never reveals her age.
Well, I just have to say that as I have, you know, become more vintage myself, that I notice I forget things. This morning I was reviewing this and going, how did I start this? And, oh wait, I used a macrame board, and, oh yeah. So, like anything though, when it comes to beading, you begin to go, oh, I've ridden a bicycle before, and you don't really think about how you do it when you're doing it because you've gotten so used to doing it. And I didn't really think, well, how did I do this until this morning? And then I sat down and said, oh yeah, it's like swimming upstream and being a fish, and some places you have your challenges getting through the rocks, and then other places you just can swim really easily. And so that's how we're going to learn to basically string this together.
We are, and you know, one of the things, and I just had to make my computer work, you guys. Sorry, I was kind of paying attention to my computer and not to you guys. Hey, Brandon, can we do that little trick where we brighten it a little bit?
already done.
Already done. Brandon is down and ready to go. That's perfect.
Okay.
So with this piece, one of the first steps, Janice, why don't we pull this in so
Okay.
we can see what you guys are going to get in the kit, and talk a little bit. Janice, they're just listening to you. Everybody's just throwing their ages right out.
Oh, good.
You know what? I love it.
Okay, so
That's right. My mom, she's awesome. She said, so if my mom just turned 73, that means that I'm 52.
Okay. Why does it mean that you're 52?
Because I always know that
years.
I'm 21 years younger than my mom.
Okay.
That's how I remember.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So yes, I love it. So so let's take a look here. And one of the first things that Janice does when you get the beads out is, or when you get this kit, is you're going to get your kit and you're going to kind of lay it on out, right? And take a look at what you've got. So what's in this kit, JP?
Yeah.
What have we got here?
Well, what inspired, I'm going to put out these barrels that...
That was your starting point, wasn't it?
Yes.
These barrels?
This impression jasper barrel that I saw at a bead show, and they were strewn on a table, and there was, I think, like 13 or 14 strands, and I just went over and I said, I want all of them.
You did?
I did. And I knew I couldn't get them again. They're from China. They're called Aqua Impression Jasper.
Look at this one.
I know. And each kit, if you notice, you'll see that I really tried to marry in every single. I know you like that one. Well, then you need to pick the one to go with it. There you go. Okay.
There we go.
So,
I'm just kidding.
No, but what I did for each kit, Kate, is I actually paired them.
You did, yeah.
I weighted them by the size. Like, I would never put that one with this
like
one.
that big, right?
These
or,
two,
or like this big one needs to go with another.
This is the correct. These two are gorgeous.
Yeah, they gorge.
But they just ended up not getting into a kit. But you could use those two today. But I just I paired them, and then I found this lovely pendant of the Buddha, and I did a little research because I'm not Buddhist, so I hope I don't offend anyone out there who is. I just admire the teachings and the art, and I fell in love with this pendant, and I did some research, and it's one of the positions that the Buddha is known for, and it's called Leela, Leela, and it's the most feminine of the positions that Buddha is known for, and it's so graceful, and I just love it. This is when he's coming back from heaven after he's given a sermon, and he's returning to earth, and so that's why I called
the Peace Homecoming.
Oh,
I like that.
That he's coming back to earth after having talked with, all the divine beings up in heaven. And I love this pendant. I thought it really went well with the tones of the impression jasper. And then I started to pull out the colors in both these impression jasper and also in the Buddha. And I found that I was leaning towards the greens, the browns, and then I discovered these beautiful jade.
Yeah, and these are natural jade, aren't they, Janice?
These are natural jade. Yep.
Look at these. And the thing that you also went for, which sometimes is hard to find when you're doing a necklace mix like this, you went for things that had some large holes.
Yes.
Right? Purposefully, so you'd have some ways to bring, and Janice is going to show you how she brings those threads in and stuff like that, and having a bead like this is really super necessary for that.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, if I had really thought about a large hole bead, I would have not included this one because this does not even fit all the threads. But I love the bead. I shied away from really fine gemstones or really fine pearls because I knew that these are very sort of what we call tribal or ethnic beads, and you can go with semi-precious, you can go with glass, you can go with seed beads, you can go with African beads, but the really fine gemstones, you really would have to use a different thread, and this thread uses the fine weight Ceylon and sable. So should we go around what we use?
Yeah.
Okay. And some of these are available on the website, and they're under the
in our tribal and trade, or they would be in our gemstones. Yeah, and if you go to the recipe, as soon as the kits sell out, the recipe is going to go up. So.
Okay, so let's start. I just spoke about the fine weight Ceylon, and then we have these Z beads, which are agates that have been etched to have a design on them. Then this is a bead we don't carry, and we don't carry it because it's
almost gone.
It's almost gone.
The turritella.
And it's a turritella. And these have actually little petrified, like tiny little snails
Shells,
in them
yeah.
and shells.
They're really beautiful.
Then this is a 3x5 check rondelle.
Mm-hmm.
We will be carrying this color. It's a teal and a tortoise. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lovely color. Right now we don't have this one online, but we have others. This is the 4mm turritella, which we do sell.
Mm-hmm.
But when this is gone, it's gone.
It's gone, yeah. It's a limited materials and limited supply.
Then this is the 8mm, one
Or
of
the
my
8/0.
the 8/0, my very, very favorite, the 4506. This is like my very favorite. This is my go-to bead.
Yeah, it's such a good bead.
this. It's got brown and green in it. And then we have what are called. We don't have this color right now online, but we are going to be carrying it eventually if we can get more.
Yeah, the Ashanti
and this
saucer.
is an Ashanti saucer.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this is like compressed powder.
It's powdered glass. Yeah, and made in the traditional
Right.
African glass, powder glass
Then
way.
these are the jade rounds. These are not available again. They're not online. And then this one is
I have it here.
six,
It's
the
the
3814.
3814.
3814, which is really pretty. It's an amethyst with like an aqua line. And those are, and then the two of the
impression
aqua,
jasper.
yeah, the impression jasper. And that's it. It doesn't seem like, like, oh my goodness, a lot of beads. But it is, and
It's a lot of
makes
beads.
it makes a really delicious necklace. And you could go in a whole bunch of different directions with this.
So when you get your beads, or if you've chosen beads that you're using at home, one of the things that I look at this kit and I go, okay, I've got some say something beads, right? I've got some special beads that I don't want to use all at the same time. So like in this, your sample that we've got here, these jade pieces you use as kind of anchors for the back and for the center.
Right.
Right? And then you have some of these Ashanti saucers. You have 3 on this side and 3 on this side.
Right.
So what I would do if I were working with this palette, and I am, I would start pulling those out and I'd go, okay, those are my 3. And then I know, what, you're taking those beads away from me, JP.
Oh, I thought you picked the
No,
ones.
not yet.
Oh, I'm so
Don't-
sorry,
No,
Katie.
that's all right. I'm just gonna.
I'm
just
so
gonna, No, just
sorry.
get the bowl. It's all right.
Okay.
There we go. Don't.
I had
don't,
no idea.
Don't let them go
I had no idea.
too far. They're so delicious.
They are.
Then you've got
This-
your
look at
3.
that
I know,
one.
so pretty. Then you've got your 3 and 3, right?
But
and
that's if
then,
you want to
right,
do it
if
this
you wanted
way.
to do this, and so
Yeah.
you would just kind of divide, and you
Yeah.
would say those are going to go there, and maybe these are going to go there. But it's just so that you don't use everything on one side and then have nothing left for the other. Right?
Unless you go,
Unless that's what you
I-
want.
But you can also supplement with things from home.
Totally.
And you can also go, oh, I don't have anything. I used it all on one side. Okay, so let's think what we can do on the other side. Maybe the other side is just solid seed beads, or it's
Exactly.
something else you have. I think what I hope this design or this collection is really a jumping off for everyone to go, this will inspire me. But you could make it any way you want.
Right.
You can do anything you want.
Exactly.
You could center it without it being necessarily going up this way. You can also make a beautiful thick collar and then put this on the center. It's just, but you're right. If you want to have enough for both sides,
Right, and you
it's
want to do kind of your
style.
take, your
this-
style.
yeah.
That's kind of how you
Exactly.
do it. Okay,
Exactly.
So you divide up.
Right.
So let's take a look at, Janice,
Yeah.
how, because this is, and I'm gonna pull these just right over here to me.
Okay.
You're not going to even notice that I'm taking these
Okay.
away
Okay.
over here. And let's talk a little bit about, we have a project map for this, so you guys will be able to see this. But why don't you, like you talked me through it a little bit earlier, why don't we talk everybody through just the mechanics of how this went, and then we'll start with
Okay.
putting that together.
Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you have your pendant is you're going to want to check the jump ring that your pendant is on. Does that jump ring look nice and closed?
Yeah,
Kate?
it does, actually.
Because do you want to just take a
Yeah.
second and just show everyone how you would just go back and forth to just tighten that to make sure it's closed?
And you can also, if sometimes I get a little where I can't see, okay, I'll just touch the jump ring and I'll go, okay, it's smooth there, but oh, see, it's a little rough there.
Yeah.
So I know it's not exactly lining up. So I'm going to just pull it back to where, and there it is.
Yeah.
It's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You want that.
sometimes
It's a good jump ring, but you want it nice and solidly closed.
because you don't want it to fall through the strands of thread because
No.
that's how it's anchored here.
Right. Okay. So sometimes you'll have a bead that can fit all of your threads, and it's a wonderful, lucky thing when you do. But in the case of this bead here, this bead does not have holes big enough to fit all of the strands through. So we have to accommodate it by doing something a little differently. So what I'd like you to do, Kate, is why don't you cut like three strands of the fine weight Ceylon, and I would make them like a good long,
A generous yard.
a generous, like even a yard and a quarter, yard and a half
Got
each.
it. And I want 3 of those, right, JP?
Yeah, and
I got it.
And make it a yard and a half, because you know what
Well,
can
you know
happen.
me, I never scrimp on thread.
Okay, because when we're done,
You never
if
know what's
you're-
going to happen in the
yeah,
back.
you want to have enough to macrame with. You can also fudge it along the way and add more thread. But why don't we start with 3?
Okay.
And then let's see, we're going to string the pendant on, and then we're going to double over and go through the
Go through the Buddha.
right.
Okay.
I recommend, we have in this project, we have the flexible eye needles, which are really great for stringing.
We could also use the big eye, right?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I find that the big eye, the only one that's comfortable for me is the littlest one.
Me too, actually.
The
I
other
agree
ones
with
are
that.
just way too long.
Yeah.
They're too long
Yeah.
for me to
I
use.
like the little ones the best. Hang on, my thread is.
But what I
caught on
found,
my
Kate,
pen.
is that if I put zap glue on the ends, and
We
we
do our
don't have
little
to do
needles.
it this, we don't have to do it this second, but that I was able to then go up through the seed beads, go up through everything with just a needle end that I made with the zap glue.
Do you have that zap, Janice? I'll
I
show
do.
that. You guys
I
have
do.
seen me do this trick a million
have your-
times. I've got my little thing. But this is a technique that we would do, we've always done in our big, what we call our advanced stringing necklaces, right? So I'm just going to get that little baggie that I have. I get my zap. I just extrude a little line of zap right on my baggie. And then sometimes I just do them all 3 at the same time. I put them in, I fold the baggie over those strands. Let me get them all in there. And then I use that baggie to really get that glue right in there. And see how I'm pressing on the baggie? Now I pull each one of these out at a time. And the baggie acts like a little squeegee. And this one's going to come out. Maybe they all want to come out together. So I will actually just pull them apart real quick because we don't want them to glue together. Okay? But the cool thing about the zap, you guys, is that the zap will dry really, really quickly, and you're almost instantly ready for your needles. So
right.
Janice, you wanted me to pass all 3 of these little lovelies through this pendant, right?
Yes, they're going to go through the jump ring. Then you're going to find the halfway point, and then once, of course, your glue needs to be dry, and then you're going to go up through
the jade.
right.
Right? So now with all 3 of these, I should be able to get them up there, right? We did 3. So I have 6 tails because those 3 strands have been folded in half. So sometimes what I do, you guys, and half of my pieces have been glued and half haven't. But see how I get them together in a little bundle? So even if I don't have a needle, I just kind of visualize that these are all going through. I look at, in my mind, I think about the hole going across, and there we have it. They're all through.
Right.
Okay. Now there's still, and also in these semi-precious beads, you guys, the holes may vary just slightly.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a pretty big hole. I could probably get 2 more in there if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there we have it.
Okay, and I cut for you
Oh,
4 more.
okay.
You want to glue these 4?
Yeah, I'll do it. Mm-hmm.
And you got both ends? You
I
got
did.
both
I'm going to
sides?
glue
Okay.
the other side in a second. But
Okay.
I haven't done it quite yet. So then, there we go. I just had to get them all together. And Janice, you worked on a macrame board, is that right?
I did. Well, actually, spoiler alert,
Spoiler alert.
I actually didn't work on a macrame board because in Virginia I didn't have a macrame
Oh.
board. I have a very large, what I use for watercolors, have you seen those boards that people take, that they tape their paper on and then they go out into nature?
Oh, for plein air?
Yeah, and I have a board, and I used heavy, like, packing tape or masking tape, and I just taped my entire project down
Oh,
to the
nice.
board, and then it's soft enough, one of these boards, I can actually use these pins in it.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally this would be, you'd use something like this,
Mm-hmm. And we have the big macrame boards
a
and
big
the little
one.
ones.
Yeah, you don't need it for the whole project, but there are a few places where you really go, I'd like to be able to pin my
that
thing
sucker
down.
down,
So,
yeah. There
So,
we go.
and again, you can do as many strands as you like.
Mhm.
This could be done. We have here. Can we see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the original Zen of stringing, and this one has a different amount of threads. It goes up through one, but for some we couldn't go all the way around, so we took it around on the outside, 2 of them around on the outside. So you take up as many as you can get through, but if you want strands up here later, you can add them and bring them up.
Yeah,
So
or you could tie them on here.
you can
So talk everybody through what this is while I get this ready, and I'll
Okay.
get this going.
So where Kate is right here is she has brought some of the threads up, and now I wanted to have more threads. So what she's going to do is she's going to take the extra threads that we want to include in this project. She's going to go through this jump ring, and then she's going to bring them up around. She's going to hug the bead on either side, and then what we're going to do is just stabilize this and do this macrame, which is just a complete square knot.
Right, and
over-
that's just the one that we always do.
right, correct.
Okay.
And you may have to actually, just for the broadcast, we may have to cut these threads because it's a lot to show. So,
Well, I will.
but you want to be generous.
So I'm going to put these through. So
Yep,
see.
so put them right through
Yep,
here.
right through there. Let me get them all together. Let me get this little glue baggie out of the way so I don't
Right.
glue myself to the baggie. And see how the little stiff needle ends? See how they just come through pretty easily? Let me get my hand out of the way here in just a second. So I'm going to go through. I find the middle. And so this is on the inside, and then these guys are on the outside.
Right,
So
right.
this is where, Janice, you pinned this down,
Yes,
right?
I did.
And you can actually, why
I'm
don't
gonna
you
pin
just
it
pin
down
it
right now.
Pin it for me.
Okay. So I'm gonna see. I can't go through that. So I'm gonna go through this.
There we go. And so see how that anchors everything really nicely? We've got a mile of
that's-
thread here.
I know.
So bear
That's
with
why I'm
us, you
saying I
guys.
think you should cut it.
Well, we'll see. Let's see if I can do it. If it becomes a hazard. There we go. Okay, perfect. And this slides just right down there.
Right. And just to kind of like make it easy for yourself, why don't you just put a knot an
All of
overhand
it?
knot there.
Yeah, okay.
No, not all of it, just the
The
ones,
bead.
yeah,
Okay.
going through the bead, so that so it's exactly where you want it.
You
It's
know
not
what? I'm gonna free it up then for
Okay.
just a second.
And then just put the knot in, and it's just through. And you can, I know we've got weight.
It's all right here. I got it. I got
You
it.
could use an awl to bring
Mhm.
that up if you're not.
There we go.
Yeah.
And this is just gonna come down.
Right.
And I do kind of like you do your pearl
Yeah.
knotting, where I
Thumb
just
on
get my
top.
thumb on top and I just
Pull
really gently
So it doesn't get all twisted.
Yeah. pull.
And the
pull,
beauty
pull,
of this thread is that you can separate the threads
Right
and tighten
here,
it up now.
like
yeah.
this. So I'm going to go 3 and 3,
Yeah.
and see how that tightened already.
Yeah, and now you don't have to worry about
No,
it.
and now I can also, for a little extra touch, I like to go, hey, each thread,
Yeah.
are you where you're supposed to be?
Yeah.
Let's just get in there. See if I can grab this here. And the final one is right here. There we go. And see how it's a nice, clean overhand
Yeah,
knot. And
yeah.
now I can bring these strands that look like a little bit of a rat's nest, but
Right.
we'll get them all back in order. And I'll get this repinned.
And you know what, Kate? I
Mm-hmm.
think we have one too many strands.
Well, the beauty of this is,
You can take one out.
I'll just take one out now.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted you guys to add more strands or have fewer strands, this is the good place to add it.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to go ahead and
take one out,
untangle
though.
this.
It's a
Yeah, I'm
little-
going to. It's a little lot.
Yeah. I
And
would.
this side here.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we divide and conquer, Janice, right, it's going to have, we have, these are 6,
Right.
3,
And then you
I
have.
have, no, so this is the right amount, isn't it?
No, I think we have one too many.
1, 2, 3,
I think
4,
we just need.
5, 6, 7.
Is this right?
Yeah, 7 and 7.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone out there my age? Okay. So that's good. Okay.
Yep, looks good.
So then this is now
Ready to go.
ready to go.
Mhm.
So we want to put these
Mm-hmm.
in the
These
middle.
together, and I'm just
and
going
you
to
can
put them,
You can
yeah.
actually put it like this right into the thing. Oop.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys can see the beauty of working with this
Yeah.
macrame board is, so now it's just right
You
in
know, the trick though with this is
Mhm.
to actually bring it
Bring it up
around
one more
again.
time. Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were not designed to stay with just these little sponges.
Mhm.
So I bring it around and I put it off to the side,
Mm-hmm.
like right here, and then I
Okay.
know it's really secure. Okay.
And then you can also, if we wanted to
Lift
lift
that
this
up,
up just a
right,
little bit,
exactly.
and I'll use my seal-on for that.
Right.
Now, I want to make sure, as I start to macrame, you guys, I want to make sure that my threads are even,
Yep.
and that they're not crossed, and it's all good. That looks about right.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, I'm just going to macrame as I would a regular
Right.
thing, right? But
A
I'm
loop.
macrameing with 4 strands on this side and 4
Right.
strands on this side.
Right.
So I'm going to start with my P side,
Right.
over the leg of the P,
Right.
under and out and up through that loop.
Mhm.
Now we have, you guys, and a lot of you know this already, we have some great skill builders on how to macrame that you can go to right on beadshop.com and see how your threads
I'm gonna
around
just-
your bead want to walk around a little bit. That's okay. See how I'm going to come in here and tighten it, and then I'm going to come in here with this and tighten it up
I'm just-
right after.
There
we go.
No one's going to have
Moving
another
that
set of
around.
hands there.
Mm-mm.
We're not going to be
You
there.
could also maybe even use your clamper,
Yep.
or you know what, you could even maybe, I don't know, some kind of a pin, a clothespin or
Mhm.
whatever. But you could continue, you guys, to macrame this as long as you wanted it to be.
Now, what I like about the way you did this, Kate, is you didn't make these too tight,
Right, I wanted them to fan out a little.
because
Whoops, sorry.
if it's too tight, they will all kind of come to one
Right,
side,
they'll
which is
bunch.
okay.
Mhm.
Which is okay. But if you don't want it to be too tight, then you know, if you don't want them, all the threads to come together,
Mm-hmm.
leave it a little bit loose so that they can travel when they want to.
You could even, Janice, you could try this out if you wanted. If you could use some smaller seed beads
You could.
and string them on.
Yep.
I could string a few little seed beads down here.
Yep, you can put seed beads on any
On
of this.
any of these.
Yeah,
Right? So if you wanted it a little more beady.
yeah.
So how many, I think I meant maybe went a little longer than
That's
you did.
okay.
But there
That's
it is.
okay.
So that's connected.
Yeah,
So now we're going to, again, I like to say divide and conquer.
right.
We're going to split our threads, right?
Right, we have to take these off
Mhm.
now. And then you have to divide and separate and have
Mhm.
center threads to let's give you these.
So what I've got here is we've got 14
Right,
threads that we need
Right.
to make sense of.
right.
So I'm going to keep my 4 that I used on this side, my 4 that I used on this side, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to divide my 3.
Right.
I'm going to go here and here. Now, Janice, you didn't glue or anything here, did you?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm just going to make sure that that's a nice firm knot.
Okay.
And then you want to put a pin in somewhere,
I
don't
do.
you?
I want to put
hold
a
it
pin
down.
here, and
Great.
then you want to move the board so that you can forget about those for a while, and then you can start on this, and you
And
want to
decide what you want to do.
yeah, you want to have at least you've got 2, 4, you have 7, right?
Yeah, 7.
So you want to have maybe 3 in the center, and then you have 2 and 2.
So what you did here is, this is where we are right now, you
Right.
guys. So what you actually did, Janice, is you macrameed a little bit before you put on this impression jasper bead.
I did. You need the air. I don't think this really would lend itself right up against it.
Yeah,
I
it
would
needs
like,
a little,
yeah.
and that's what I was thinking. You could also, I was thinking maybe you could also use one of these
You could-
round beads
Why don't
there.
you? Why don't you?
Should I?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. See how, and you've got the nice little bit of glue on the end. So
Let's see how it looks, if it can all go through.
it
might.
I don't
probably
think
not.
it's not going to. But it's a good way to start out. And there's really no formula that you have to pick. Oh, the 2 on the inside have to be. You can pick almost any at this point, and they will work themselves out.
Bear with me here
But
just a
you
second.
do want to get those others out of the way. Yeah,
There we go.
hide them away.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I separated 2 out, 2 on each side, and now I've got my 3 for the center. At least I did a second ago.
And I think you can fit the 3.
I think I
in.
can.
Yeah.
So these are, what were these, Janice? These
Those are
were,
the Z agates.
Oh, the Z agates.
Yeah.
Aren't they cool?
I love them.
Oh gosh, I love them too.
Yeah.
So again, let's just visualize that bead hole going through the center. We bring it through, we grab it, and we
I love the way that when
slide
you're
it
doing
down.
it, it's just you, and I didn't think to do that.
Well,
I
that's the
love-
beauty
that's
of a
the beau-
kit.
Yeah, that's what
You
I
know?
love about
There we
And
go.
I
I'm gonna
I
untwist.
hope everyone who makes one of these will post it on the
they
bead
will.
table. Yeah.
That'll make Janice's day.
That will totally make
So
my day.
I'm just going to poetry style.
Do we want to make sure these, we want to
Yeah,
take
I
these
got 'em.
3
Oh, and make 'em
and
tight?
secure them, and
Okay.
then put like a spool or something so
could.
that your macrame goes
Yeah.
easily.
I'm just forging ahead.
I know.
You know me. There we go. People are saying they want the kit to come with an extra pair of hands, Janice, but
Well, I would
unfortunately,
like to be in your kit.
that's
actually.
not, yeah.
Actually,
Janice
So,
would just travel from
from
place
home
to place,
home.
home to home. Yeah, go ahead if you want to put that under
Yeah,
my
I
So
do.
Ginger says
I
the
do.
barrel beads are talking to her.
Oh,
Yeah.
they are. I
They're so
really
good. Mm-hmm.
want to see if I can ever find more. They're just so special.
So I go under and I come through, and then you guys decide how long of a space you want to leave. Janice and I were talking a little bit before the broadcast, and she's like, "Oh, well, what are you going to make?" Or what are you? And I'm like, "I don't know what I'm going to make."
No, you don't like to think about
I
it.
don't like to think about
No.
it. I just, I live the moment from bead moment to bead moment is what I do.
Well, I think last week was a true classic.
What did we do
Wasn't last week
Yes.
with the
What did I
suede
do?
the suede.
Oh, the gypsy leather,
and
right,
we
of
had
course.
a really lovely sample that you could have made, and you just, oh wait, I'm going to use braided leather.
I'm going to use braided
and
leather, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
Sorry,
like,
everybody. We
yeah.
have two beautiful samples
and
for
then
you.
you wanted to do that. You just do you. That's what's so beautiful about you.
What happens here, you guys? Just to clarify, so we've split our threads. So we've got 7 over here, 7 over here. I have 3 in the core, and I'm macrameing 2 and 2. Okay, so that's it. Okay,
That answers Cindy's question.
and so now I can decide. Is it time for one of these impression jasper barrels?
You know, well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
But another way of dividing your beads is, instead of doing it like ahead of time, is as you use something,
Do it on the other side.
You can put its mate in a little tin.
That's a
and
great
then you go,
idea.
okay, I can't
I
use
can't
that
use
for
that
this
one.
side.
That's a great idea.
So it doesn't kind of limit your thinking as much.
One of my big favorites to do, and we're going to put that on, but you know what I'm going to do.
I know exactly what you're going to do. No, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Yes, you do.
I think I do.
Yes, you do.
So
Where's
here
that?
are
Okay.
these.
I am a fan of weaving
The saucers.
the saucers.
Or coins.
Yeah. And so I need to, I have an odd number of threads. So 3 have to go to one side, and 4 have to go to the other. Okay? So I'm going to get these through. This, I learned it probably Yearny or,
this
I
was...
don't know, Kim, remember Kim from our store?
The actual original design is a wedding apron, and women in Africa would wear these
Woven flat
aprons, and part of the design had coins in it, and the way they did the coins, I'll come in here. So if this is the coin, they bring the thread through this way.
Janice, you're getting a lot of invitations, just an FYI.
Oh!
You can just travel the country and stay with everybody.
Travel the world, Gita.
I do like the bobblehead idea, too.
Yeah, people want Kate and Janice bobbleheads.
And then, so you come through from one side, then you come through from the other side.
So see what I'm doing here, you guys? I'll move my hands out for a second. See how I went through with these bottom strands, the 4, and I came through, and now I'm coming up from the side. So I'm just doing kind of a little S or a figure 8 with both of these threads, and see how now I can just bring it down, and I've got a nice little flat piece here. And Janice, you did that right here in the back.
I did.
And see, when Janice was doing this with the single strands or the doubled strands up here, she did that same thing, but she just used the single strands instead.
And then I also used the 6/0 that way. So I brought the 6/0 through this way and then out. But yeah, this is a great way of using this. If you were to use like a lot of the Ashanti coins, beads or coins, they lay like this, which is just a great look.
It's beautiful.
It's really a beautiful look.
So what I'm going to do is, I don't know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. When I was just thinking of something, and then we laid those 3 out, and they had such a visual impact. I'm a big fan of intentional repeats in a pattern. So should we just see how that looks?
Yeah, sure.
Janice, I don't want to go
so
too far off
let's
your
put
design.
one. No, go ahead. I'm putting one in the little bin.
One in your bead kitty?
For next time.
So if that's this way,
Then
I need
the
to
other
come
one
up
has to come
over the top,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So
It has
let's
to come
just
through this way.
yeah.
Yes.
So let me get this. And
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, I'm
it
gonna
has
go.
to.
Yeah,
If this one goes under, then that one
that
has to go over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put another one in the bin.
Put another one, and get your sample out, Janice, just so people can kind of see how this is evolving in a similar but different fashion.
Okay.
Okay. And I really love the elements that Janice used with that. See there? Look at that, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's really great. I love it.
We could also
You could tie a knot there.
tie a knot there.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's.
Let's
I
see how
like
the
it.
third one. I think we need that third one in there
Okay.
to make it happen, right?
Okay,
So why don't
yes.
we do it? So talk a little bit, Janice, about as I'm putting these on, because it's kind of similar. Well, not really, but these berry kind of beads that you did. What did you do there?
That was just sheer genius.
Sheer
I have to say,
genius.
it was totally unexpected.
That laugh you heard in the background, that was Cara. Cara's filling.
Honestly, I have never done this before, and it just kind of
just dawned
I
on
just
you.
pulled it out.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just put what did I do? I put 5 seed beads on each strand.
Each of the 7 strands.
right.
Right.
And then I brought them up through a Z bead. And when you do that, it just forms, it just looks like a little bead. That is exactly all I did. I didn't have a center. I didn't work around a core. I just, that's it.
That's it.
And they make the cutest little beads, little berries.
You, after you put this impression jasper one on, you took another couple of macrame stitches.
Yes.
But then you brought all of these together with that Z bead, right?
Right, because if I had done the macrame stitches, the reason I put the bead up against them is it pushed them.
It made
to
them
be
bulbous a little,
yes.
right, like a bead.
If I had just put the knots in, it would have ended up a bit flat because I wouldn't have been able to have something to push all of those beads against. So that's why I just did it instinctively. I just pushed it on and then did the knots. In my sample, in almost every situation, I only did 1 complete or 2 complete square knots. That's it. I didn't, you're doing a lot more, which is fine. I'm just saying I stuck to kind of a formula of 2 complete square knots.
And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do that overhand knot. May I have that all just real
Sure.
quick, JP? That will also, the tension to make these saucers sit correctly has to be exactly right. So that's why I'm putting in that overhand knot right there to make it all come together. So it
Boy, I
sits as
love
one
that.
unit, right?
I love that, don't you?
Yeah, I really do. I so do. And I love these mint. This was a color that I hadn't seen, and when
I
you sent
know.
these over, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, I know.
So now maybe it's time for one of these
Hickster,
guys.
Yeah, Mr.
Right?
Mr. and Mrs. Yes.
So we
which
could,
are you going to use? You have to pick 2, Katie.
I love those. I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to pick.
Oh God. Do I?
Yep.
Look at this one, you guys. But that size is a little big. These all
And-
size nicely. I don't know.
This is what I spent hours doing,
did.
was pairing these up.
The rest
so
of this
that every-
broadcast is just going to be me
Yeah,
taking over
every,
my beads.
you know, some of them, will you bring out the more turquoise?
Sure.
Some of the kits have the more turquoise in them. Some of them are more brown. But I tried to make every single kit interesting.
I really like those two, but I love
I do,
this.
but I would
love-
never pair those 2
Really?
together.
Yeah, it's a little small.
It's too small.
Yeah.
Size, pattern, all of that mattered. You're going to have to decide. Tick, 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 tick,
Tick
tock,
tock,
tick,
tick
tock.
tock. There we go.
Okay, those are the 2.
That's it.
Okay,
All right.
okay, and then the team gets to pick
All right.
their little tip for the day.
So
yeah.
now let's see what you did was since we are working with 7 strands. Okay, we need to decide how many can go through. Right.
I think I did 3, and then I did 2. That's what
2
I
along
did.
the outside.
But you could, yeah. I feel like less than 2 on the outside is not going to be enough
enough
structure.
Right. And so what I do, if I were testing this out, okay, because if I didn't know that you had already done this, I would gather all of my threads together, and I would just kind of see
if you can fit them all.
What could fit, okay? So what may fit, though, in one bead, so see how this
that fits.
may not fit, so now I'll check the other one.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you just have to go in and you kind of have to use the bead hole to kind of help gather them all together.
And in this case, before you do one side and decide on how the technique, you need to do both beads.
Right, to just make sure.
Your second one may not work.
And there they go.
But you
see,
could.
If I just kind of had to poke it around, so both of those fit.
Okay, so.
But I love the look of the thread around it. So I'm going to make a visual choice.
Let's pop this guy into the little tin.
Yep, that says, whoops, this guy didn't go all the way through. Oh, because I'm taking, well, this is what I would do. Let's pretend that he's in there.
Okay.
Okay. I would, to manage, for good thread management, I'd pull all this down and I'd go, okay, I'm going to pull out two from one side very carefully and two from the other side very carefully.
How long do you think this necklace would take you to make?
Well, if I were just making this and not freaking out about it being a sample that I had to finish with a deadline, I would take at least a weekend. Because something like this, for me, I like to, if we were working in my studio together, I might stop here.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I would go to the other side. Because I keep thinking in my head, maybe I want to make this asymmetrical, but maybe I don't. But wouldn't this pattern repeat on this side beautifully? And then I could use these small beads.
You could do it,
to do a multi-strand that way.
Yeah. Or you could do this side a bunch of these little
little bead, which I
beads.
love. I love that feeling.
You could do any,
So I might do something like that. Maybe here, beads. Repeat that again here. Beads. So I don't know. I like to, as I like to say, I like to let it simmer a little bit.
Well, I know when I need to stop. I need to stop when I don't know what to do next. I just, the beads talk to me, and then when I get to a point where I go, I don't know what to do now, that's when I stop.
Right.
And then I would start on the other side. And more than likely, it's going to inform me. Let's put this under so
what's
you
going to
have a
happen?
little. It'll inform me. Can we lift this
right
up a
there,
little
I
bit?
got
Yeah. What to do next. So if I can't think of what to put on one side, then I'll go to the other side and start the other side.
And so with something like this, this is what we would like to call that museum quality necklace, right?
Yes.
And so we always
hope so.
harken back, we always harken back to, it's like creating a couture garment, right? A couture garment isn't something, it's like that 1 hour sewing pattern where you sit down and then an hour later you have a pair of pajama pants. This is something that you need to, plan out and then start, and then maybe even try it on. Like at this point too, I would say, for me, if I were making this for me, I'd measure it on myself because I know where I want this to all sit.
Right.
So I have to start to get that visual all of a sudden there.
And it's very deceiving how short a necklace is when you actually measure it on you. That you go, oh, I think I can go for, on and on and on. And it's very much like a bracelet. Like the part that shows up to your collarbone is, if you want something sort of like 18 or 20 inches, you don't get that much to look at. So you do have to measure.
So I might.
Wait, you don't get to use
I don't get that one. Oh,
no, you have to.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Got to use.
Thank you.
You've got to use your other little.
So let's say for continuity that I want something to be similar maybe here, and then maybe I'd branch off there.
And do something different? Sure, you could even do some of You
I
could
would
do
like
some
to
of
show,
those.
yeah, let's show
Sure.
that, shall we? So
Okay.
I'm just going to, we're going to switch sides.
Okay.
Because it feels like the right thing to do.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to turn my board.
Okay.
I'm going to get these guys. Now you guys saw me do that. Janice, just give a quick explanation one more time so everybody, Emily was asking me.
Sure.
Wait, that was a bead I was going to use, so I'll get another one.
No, these
No.
are the ones you
Okay.
can use. These
So
have
I'm
kind
going
of
to take that one.
migrated.
Okay.
I don't know where they've
I
gone.
know,
Let's
'cause
put
I'm
all
migrating.
these in there,
There we
and
go.
then that was
So
mine.
that's yours. You
You
can't
have
that.
3.
All
There
right.
you
So
go.
this
Okay.
one I have to put.
No, it's right there.
Oh, okay.
You're all good.
So
1, 3, and that.
okay.
So this
I actually
goes
want.
here.
I actually want that green one though.
Then you could use that one again.
There we go.
Yes.
There it's there.
Now you
Now
can
I'm
use
taking it from
that.
this side.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Yes. So while I'm doing this, we speak the same language.
What were you saying about Emily?
Emily was asking, can you show how these saucers were woven one more time?
Sure, absolutely.
Your little drawing, wherever
Yeah.
that ended up.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put the paper here. So you can have, and it doesn't matter if it's a circle or it's a pie disc or it's a coin with a square hole. It doesn't matter. It can even be a little bead, a 6/0 seed bead. It can be anything. But you need to think of it sort of sideways.
Like a disc.
Right, exactly.
And the shoulders are wider or thinner.
Right. So in the project that you're doing next week, you have used the Ashanti saucers, but you've used them this way. So you've strung up through them on different strands. You've gone through the hole, and they look like saucers, like this. In this case, they're looking more like bagels or donuts. And the way, I'm going to get a nice fresh piece of paper now. So you imagine it's sort of a little bit of a trust exercise. But the way you weave it, think one thread at a time. You go over, you're going over this side, you go in it, and then you go under and out. And then when you go with your next thread, well, what should I do next? You look at where this thread is, and you go, okay, I have to go opposite. So I'm going under, and then I'm coming through, and then I'm going over.
So it's
this.
capturing it.
It's this.
It's kind of like you're laddering. It's that laddering
it's just
in and out.
Yeah, it's back and forth. If you were going to use like a little seed bead, which is normally we string it this way, right? Here's the little bead. We go like this, and we go through it. You can take that little bead, which when you look at it sideways, you can go through it here and through. And then you have to go, well, what side is my thread on? Then you want to go the opposite, over and through. And then as you do your next one, so if here's the circle on this one, you go, this one's over and that one's under. Then your next one, so this one, it's almost easier to take thread and show you than to do it this way. So then this one you take, and it doesn't matter which one you use, you take, here's your next one, you come over, and then this one would go over that and then under that. And that's all it is.
So it's just meandering back and forth.
It's
with
literally
each strand.
going back, and then what I like to do when I do them, I go over and under, and then that one has to go, this first one has to go under because it went over. This one went under, it has to go over. I like to then knot. I like to knot them and do them, which is what I did.
And I did that right here.
Yeah.
At the end to really hold them.
I'm going to put it on the white paper so you can really see it. I like to knot on either side, and you get a lot of mileage with a few beads when you string beads this way. the Zen of Fishing, which we're going to do in January. I did this with, I could actually go and get it. I did this.
No, not yet.
I did this with the large hole, faceted
The
stone
star
beads.
cuts, right?
No, not the star cuts, but what are the
Just the big hole beads?
rondelles, the big hole beads from the stones from Dakota. I did this. While should I go get them and show them?
Well, let's show. I'm actually ready to do these to do these berries.
Okay, maybe I can get it before we.
I think that doing one of those little berries here might be kind of fun. And you know, this, someone was asking about, do we have to do these strands outside? We don't. I could have just come in and then done this, and then if I wanted multiple strands like this up here, I could tie on another group of threads here, right? So we don't have to, you know, if seeing this thread along the outside isn't your groove, it's no big deal. So with this, I have 7, right? 2, 4, 6, 7. So I'm going to go ahead and string each of these into a little berry.
Right. While you're doing that, and then I can help you string too.
Sure.
I want to just show that if you're coming up, you don't have as many strands as you want, and you want to add a thread, then what I would do is I would come in and I would tie what you do have into a knot, and then I would take a bead that can fit all that you have and maybe bigger, and then put the bead on that has the bigger hole. Like here's the bigger hole bead. And then you see how you have all the, depending on if you have open or not, you can either take thread here. The best way to do it would be to take thread through the legs. So
right,
that
just underneath.
Underneath.
And that'll
then
anchor it.
And then bring them up, so that you bring them up through this, and they have this here that stops them. So you could actually, you want to add your thread. Here you go. You put on these, you put a bead that's got a nice big hole. Then you take a few more threads and you come through the legs of this with both. And then you knot above that, and then you have all your threads. Or, there's so many ways of doing this. You have a bead here, like your Z bead. Here's your Z bead, and you have threads coming up here, and you've knotted this here. You can even just add a thread right under here.
Yeah, right under the knot.
Right under it, and then knot it.
And that tension between the knot and the bead will hold it together.
Yeah, and then just macrame. But I think it's better if you can add them down here.
So they're a little more stable going up through the bead hole.
Yes. But
either way, if you can't, if that hole isn't large enough, do it right at the top.
yes.
3. And you could use, I think the fine Ceylon that we're using for this, we've had some questions about whether or not I've waxed this. You could, and I might, if I were working at home, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I'm putting 8 beads each on here, Janice, just because I like to count. I might wax this at home just lightly to give it a little bit of stability, maybe. 2, 4, 6, 8. But then again, I mean, this is working just fine here. We've mentioned it earlier that you can use a little hair straightener to straighten out the, remember we did that? Alice brought her hair straightener to the retreat.
Oh, you mean like a flat iron?
Yeah, like a flat iron. And she, and so we ran the Ceylon through that flat iron several times, and it really, you know, it's like when you press a tablecloth, how nice it is afterwards. Or your sheets. No one presses sheets anymore, do they? I don't know. When I was a little girl,
not here.
No, when I was a little girl, my gran would use, and I would use that big, you know, what do they call it, a mangle? mangle,
So 2,
whatever.
4, 6.
And you'd use that to press your sheets. Just a little aside.
Okay, so I want to just give a shout out, Emily, I thought of you when I created these beads. They look like your little berry
the
beads.
beaded berries.
Yeah, the beaded
So
berries.
we're on the home.
And you used more than I
2,
did, right?
4, 5. No, I used 7.
2.
7 strands.
No, but number of beads.
Oh, I don't
2.
know.
I used 5.
Did you? 2,
So you have 8. So let's see how
6,
this looks.
7, 8.
And you know, I want to just show everyone out there, when you have your zap glue on these ends, this is a really fast way of doing it. It's sort of like a little sort of faux volcano, but you can just pop them on this way. Okay, I think you have all of them. Let's see how 8 looks.
I'm going to push them down.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what did you do, Janice? You put a bead on?
I put a bead. I did. I put a bead right.
You actually did do, is that a knot maybe?
I did macrame knots above it.
But there's a bead right there.
But you could also just do an overhand knot.
Yeah, I might.
You could.
Let's bring it all together.
Okay.
Slip it through.
You want an awl, or
No, I'm just gonna
you're just gonna pinch?
pull.
Ceylon is the most forgiving thread.
It is, because see, see how I have that little bubble
Yeah,
of thread?
it doesn't matter.
Don't worry, because I haven't tightened it all the way. I'm going to just gently tug on each of these strands until I find out, there it went. See that? And now I'm going to split the strands and pull them in. I've got a little bit of thread showing there, but who cares? Not the end of the world.
It looks good.
Yeah. I'm just going to pull on each of these to make sure that they are up.
It all works out in the wash.
It does. There we go, like this. So what we've got, and again, we don't want to make this too tight because then you won't have any movement, right? It needs a little bit of air. So there's that little pod.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
Okay.
that cute? Yeah.
So ta-da! So next, what do we do next, Janice?
What do you want to do
What
next?
shall we show them?
We have not used any of these
We haven't.
agates.
And you know, maybe we should just string a little bit of this.
Yeah.
To show.
The free form.
The free form.
Yeah. Now
So,
don't forget, you've got your agate bead.
You know,
You're going to put them both. I think that's a great idea.
I think I am.
Okay.
I think I'm going to repeat this
Okay.
over here.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I'm just going to let that simmer. But let's, so if I were going to do this, maybe I could macrame here, or should I just start? Maybe I should just start.
You know, I know it's your necklace.
Yeah. I'd like to know
But
what you would do. We really want one of these.
want something a little
Okay.
heavy
All right,
before we go too
Okay.
light.
Then
Now,
let's do it.
which one do you want? You've got.
No, you choose.
I guess it doesn't matter. They're all different
This
colors.
was a nice one.
Okay, so let's put one in there. I don't know. I just feel like it needs a little heaviness before it goes.
Now again, this has a smaller hole. So I'm going to have to come
You're gonna have
around.
to figure it out, Kate.
I am. What else is new? 3.
You're gonna have to
Here you
figure it
go.
out.
So these 3, maybe 3 and
We'll see how many will fit through.
I think just 2 will fit through. I'm going
Let's
to try
see.
2.
Because maybe if
Gingerly
that's the
take
case,
it.
you won't be able to use it here.
Well, maybe. Let's see.
You know, I didn't use any of those down here at the bottom. I only used them up near the top.
Well, let's see if these little dudes, yes, they do. Let me see if I can get
many
one
can you-
more. I want one more to go through. Let me see if I can.
Sometimes if you slide the bead
Yeah, the bead
away
down.
from the thread, it'll...
Yeah.
Did it work?
Did it go? I think it wants to. There it is.
There. Great. Okay.
Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is, I don't want this to be funny. So I'm going to take those strands out of there because I want it to lie as smoothly as possible. So now what I'm going to do, front, back, because that thread's going to want to sit there anyway, JP.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want, are you going to just do an overhand
Yeah,
knot?
that's
okay,
it.
great. And then you can start separating and doing your different floaties. What is everyone saying?
I think they like
I'm the queen
it.
of the multi-strand. Thank you, Cindy.
You are.
But Kate is, you know, Kate has got such great style. And you have such a, everyone has such a different sense of taste and style and color and pattern.
That's the beauty
It's like
of it.
our DNA. No one can do exactly the same thing. You can't.
No.
Even if you said, I'm going to copy what you did, it would not turn out to be the same.
And you know, that's, I think, Janice, why we so freely share design
Yes.
and ideas
In
and
large
things
part
on
it
here.
is, yes.
Because, you know, we've always had that mindset that, you know, if you put it out there and share it, it just makes our creative world that much better. You know, and we're all going to be using, 100 of you out there are going to be making this necklace, and they're each going to be different.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of it. There we go. And you see how I pulled each one of those. So you guys see how I really wanted to make sure that this thread wasn't twisted, not twisted, that when I made that knot, nothing was too, I don't know, curled around or whatever. So these knots look really smooth. And I think, Janice, that was the exact right thing to put there.
Well, thank you. It just needed...
And visually, it's the same weight.
It just needed the end of the sentence
It
before you went, you know, rogue. Okay.
So now what do we do? What do I, let's look at how you strung it.
So, not that you're going to do it how I did it.
Well, you never know.
But I separated each of the strands. And I started...
So you just did it Odyssey, a la Odyssey, right?
Yeah, I did, a la Odyssey. And that's all I did, is just...
So I'm going to make my little thing. So now, it depends on how good of a knotter you guys are, right? And the beauty of using this macrame board is, if you're not a super strong knotter, it's okay. See how I tied my overhand knot here? But what if I want that knot to be down there? Well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my awl.
All I'm going to do.
And see, I'm going to put the point of the awl into the board. And that's going to help me find a stopper for that knot. And then I can pull it out and just tighten it up. Okay, so there's my first little one.
And you can also tighten it up by stringing your bead on it and then pushing your bead up.
Exactly. What I also will do is I'll start thinking ahead about where I'm going to tie things on, because I don't want to exactly tie everything on in the same place,
even,
right?
yes.
We want to vary it up a little bit so things don't bunch out too funky. Okay, so let me just put some on.
Okay.
And did you do singles, JP, or what did you do?
I did just...
or you did some groupings, some singles?
Well, I did singles, and then in some cases I tied two together.
But in your little stacks. So some have 2 beads, some have 1. Just depends on what you want to do, right?
Yeah, and I like...
You talk that out, and I'm going to string like I mean it.
What I like to do is, as I'm... And we don't have... We have enough of those seed beads that we don't have
to worry.
Put them in the little, the little
I don't
tin.
have to divide them.
No, you don't. But what I like to do when I'm working with different beads is I like to begin to think of beads together becoming units. So this becomes a design unit that I will repeat in other places. So I will use it more than once, and I did. And in other cases, I just used the rondelle or the turritella 4mm. And then in some cases, I brought strands. I don't know how many. Here we go. You can see it a little better. I brought strands together, tied them together, then went and I was able to do like the saucer kind of stringing because I now had 2 strands here to go over and under. And so I could add the saucers up here. So the only thing I'd recommend doing is when you're going to tie 2 together, just get them so that they're similar length and that you don't have anything super bulky on one
right next to it
that you then have to try and tie to a little bead because you don't want them to kind of splay out. So just give yourself a little air and then tie a knot.
So let's say that if I have these 2 here,
Yeah.
okay, if I want to come together,
Yeah,
I'll tie them,
right.
and again, I can use that awl and kind of put the awl where I want it to, like maybe that looks about right.
Anywhere, yep.
And then what I'll do is you can just split them.
Yep. And then
And
you
tighten
now
them.
have 2 that you can either string separately, you could do
Or
a
doubled.
saucer. You can also do them double and then have like one of your ovals on it if you wanted.
You did, I wanted to show, you did, and this is a good place for that. See how if I go in one way,
And then the opposite.
and then the opposite, and then it'll be back in frame in just a second here, you guys. Untwist, untwist. There we go. And see how, there it is.
Yeah.
So it goes to the side. And it just gives it a little bit of a different flair.
Can you
know?
do like 2 or 3
You
more
read
of the
my
sa-
mind.
yeah,
Get
the
out of
same?
my head there, Janice. I love it. So I'm going to do another one to see how it looks. Okay. So the project did start, Cindy has a question, with 7 strands. Okay. And I generously measured
A yard and
about
a
a
half.
yard and a half of the
Which
fine
is very generous.
Ceylon. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very generous. And I'm working with really long threads, but my thread management skills are pretty good.
Is that amazing looking? Look at it.
Look at that little chain.
And that's just a 6-aught
little chain of events.
seed bead. That's all it is.
I'm going to do one more.
And it's like a ladder bracelet, really, without the leather.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going in and out, kind of
Yeah.
like we did with that
Yeah.
Lydia chain
Yeah.
the other day. So see, there's my 3.
Yep.
And now I'm just going to make another knot here, and tie it up. Get in there. Okay. Now you guys, this project is super complex, and I know that you're going to want to go back and re-watch this episode. You know that you can watch this, you can watch us several places. All of our live broadcasts are archived on our Facebook page, beadshop.com, our business page. They're archived on our YouTube channel, and if you don't follow our YouTube channel, you might want to go and give it a follow, beadshop.com. Or you can also find them, Karen, after the broadcast, she adds them to whatever the project is, and so you can also find them on our website, beadshop.com. And the beauty about that is, I know a lot of you rewatch this on YouTube. Since we're filming in such high def, you're able to really see things super clearly, especially if you have that YouTube app on your smart TV. That's how my mom likes to watch them. She watches us really big. So you can really get up there nice and close. See here, my thread, I didn't get the knot exactly where I needed it, but that's okay. I'll get my knot, my awl inside that knot, and I'll just wrangle it down.
Or if you can't, just leave
Who
it where it
cares?
is.
Yeah, exactly.
No one is going to come up to you and say, oh, that
Yeah.
knot is not close enough to the bead.
And I like how those 3 little beads look together, so I'm going to repeat it. Because once all of the beads are together, you're never going to know what's on what strand.
No.
Okay? And there's a question, Janice, did you go through any prototypes with this? Or did you just sit down and string it?
Yeah, straight string.
Straight stringing.
No,
Because
no,
the sense memory in your head, right?
I do, that's a really good question. But I think that when you start to learn a technique, you begin to layer what you've known in the past. I'm not going to say I never cut anything up. Every once in a while, like there have been certain, like a looming project, like the one where I used the abacus,
Yeah.
where I was experimenting with the 5mm leather and weaving it as a weft. There were things where I struggled with, is this going to work? How am I going to use that? But with a project like this, which is not new, it's not the first rodeo we've done with this, it sort of becomes like riding a bicycle. And I think the struggle is when I try to push through what to do next.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that instead of going back and cutting things up if you don't like it, take, like you do.
Just push through.
Or
pause. Take a pause.
Take a pause. Go to the other side. Think about if you know, hey Janice, I've done the other side and that's not working. Okay, so you haven't picked out your button yet. Go through your button collection. What kind of button do I have? Or think about, okay, if I was going to make another one, what might I add to it? But don't take that one apart until you've had a chance to take a break and come back to it.
And see it through a little bit more.
Because your mind did that for a reason. Your creative spirit had you do what you did for a reason. And so don't be so quick to say, I don't like it, I hate it. At this moment you may not like it, but you know, let your inner coach tell you, as my daughter would say, to like get rid of the gremlins. Don't let the gremlins start talking you away from it. You know, let your angels start saying, you know, that's really nice. I'm going to come back to it later and figure it out.
And so the as we're going through this, and I'm going to show everybody because I don't want to keep continuing with this. We've got to actually show how we finished this off. See how everything here is starting to come together. Now, what I might do is I might continue this on till about right here, and I think I might then reverse this. I might come in and go
and then do one of the
here, and then put one of those here, I think. And then I could maybe do one more section of that, just depending on how long I want this to be. I'm going to come in, I think, and I'm going to do our donut layer and this guy. And then I might repeat that pattern with those little berries here on the other side. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to let you talk us through how this closure went.
And also, everyone, there's a wonderful, there's lots of learning that's already done for this project for the Zen of Stringing.
Let's pull that. Let me clear this out. I want you to pull that, and we'll lay these out so we can look at them.
You go, I don't know how to do, the macrame at the end. I don't know how to, you know. In this case, I made the button out of just one of these wonderful stone beads. But this is all in our learning already. So it's really it's much easier than you think to do this.
There we go. Let me put that over
I'm
there.
Gonna move this.
So we'll move this here.
Move
Let's bring that one
away.
to the floor. Let's see what we've got.
So by now, what seemed like we were talking a foreign language at the beginning of this live broadcast, now is like, oh, okay, maybe that makes more sense now. I can see how you can, you know, break up what you have into sections, and let's get all this. Are we all in frame?
Yeah, Brandon's got us. What you're seeing is a little behind us.
So now that I've done this, I can say, I'll show you the things that, as I go along, how I did this, what I would do differently. Okay? So in this case here, you now know from what Kate and I have done today that you can string randomly, you can put your saucers on however you want, create a pattern, and on the button side, I came up and I took all of my threads here, and I macrameed all of them, just one square knot, and then I put through as many threads as I could, which I did the same way as I did the center here. So I put the 3 threads or 6 threads through, 3 threads, then 2 on the outside, and then I brought them together and I macrameed them into a knot, and I did put some zap glue here because I wanted to make it secure. Now if I were doing this again, what I would do differently is I wouldn't make this so heavy. It's a little heavy to me. I brought too many threads up. So what you can do is, before you start macrameing, you've secured this jade bead already. That's already, it's not going anyplace. What you can do is you can drop some threads. You just put them aside, drop your threads. Then you want to secure this to your board again, like maybe 3, and then take a couple on each side, and you can macrame up, go through your
the
button.
You can see how it goes through.
Yeah, it's like 1 too many threads. I think there are 4 there or
4 or
something.
5, I think.
4 or 5. I would go a little less. Come back down. Then what you just have to do is you have to turn your project around
and macrame back.
and like pin this to the board. Then macrame down over here, and then I would put maybe a little tiny bit of the glue before you do your last knot, the zap glue, and macrame over that. Now we have learned from Allie Morey how she brings the threads with the needle back up to hide them. I didn't do that. Instead, what I did,
you did these gorgeous little tassels.
And by putting a knot on the end of each one of these, it almost ensures this macrame is never going to come out, because it means each one of these knots, it's like a stopper. And that's all I did. You could put glue on the end or not. I just cut them nice and clean. And they're on Ceylon, it's not going to come out.
And this is the same way, you guys, that you would, like if you wanted to make a tassel,
Yeah.
you know, just on a different project or whatever, you know, it's that same kind of look. You can just knot your beads along and have some of that Ceylon showing. It looks really nice.
So then on this end, I'll show you the mistake. This I used less thread to make the button loop. It was just too many, so I dropped. Let's get these all. I want to show you my mistake. I want to show you my mistake, because we all make mistakes or goofs. So I came up through this bead, and I have my threads. I have my threads on the outside, and then this is where I dropped some threads, and I was running out of thread. I did not cut enough thread, and I did the prayer thing. Pray it'll work. And I started macrameing, and my outside threads, I didn't have enough.
So you glued it.
So what did I do? You know, like, am I going to remake the whole thing? Am I going to? No, I just took a new thread, glued it, and then finished it. Came down here. I macrameed over the old threads.
Right there.
So that it would become a button loop. I checked to make sure this would fit through that. And then I did the same thing where I started and made tassels with a knot on the end of each one.
So let me ask you this, Janice. If we're kind of thinking about this, what I might have done, and it's just because I'm seeing this glue.
Yeah, isn't it
Could you
awful?
have started? No, could you have started your macrame just above where the glue was, and macrameed over the glue?
I think I did, but
No, I think your start is here.
um,
I think so. If you just pulled that start up to here, tied your new threads
and
on
then
above
put
the glue.
and then put the glue on before you.
Well, I would just have put the glue on like you did here, but this start, I would have tied it above where the glue was. And then macrame down and over the glue.
Absolutely.
To maybe hide it.
Absolutely.
But this is fine. It doesn't look bad at all. I mean, you know.
I wasn't going to worry about it. Just.
And also, if you look on the inside, if I turn this around,
then it's on the inside and you don't see the glue
Right.
as much.
Exactly.
See, this is why we have Kate. I wouldn't have even thought of that. This is why we have Kate.
So you would just make
Put it
sure
on
that
the
your glue
inside.
is on the inside and then flip it towards the inside
Yeah.
as you're macrameing. No one will ever see
Yeah,
it.
no.
As Gran used to say, it'll never be seen on a trotting horse.
Yes.
As that would
And
be.
that's my story. I'm sticking
Yeah.
to it.
And they also get this button in the kit, right?
Oh, yes.
This pretty button. It's
yes,
in there.
I forgot to take
Yes.
those out. Yes.
But that's in there
That's
too.
in
So
there.
you get soup to nuts, you guys,
Yep.
so don't worry. So see how that just fits really, really nicely. Now, if you're not into macrame here at the ends, you could have silk wrapped this closed. You know,
You could have done a seed bead loop.
yeah, you could have done a seed
Yep.
bead loop. So there's all
Emily says
kinds of
clasp.
different ways.
You could put a clasp
Yeah,
on, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it just depends on how you want to do it,
Yep.
on what you want to
Yep.
do. It would really look great. So I want you to let's just take one last look. I want you also, you put those other pieces out.
Yeah,
We're going to
I
go a
thought-
little long today, you guys, but it's always such a special occasion to have Janice, so we don't want to rush this off too much.
I brought in some of the Born Yesterday samples to show how
How there's
you
kind of a
can use-
similar,
yeah,
without
you can
being putting
use-
a too fine a point on it, a similar thread going through all of these designs,
and
really.
similar closures with the macrame. I mean, I know I have to expand my macrame stitches.
Oh, I don't know about
But
that.
for those of you out there my age, it gets harder and harder to come up with new things as you get older. But we're going to, the resolution for 2019 is we're going to,
It's new
I'm going
knots.
to break out and I'm going to,
Well,
maybe I'll even
don't break out too far.
Maybe I'll even do kumihimo. Maybe. I can't promise, but maybe.
Wow.
So-
It's really, it's a cool piece. So if you guys, again, if you're watching this a little bit later, I know that our kits are probably very limited. So if you don't, or if you're watching this later or you're not able to grab a kit, don't worry. We have a recipe up there for you. There's a recipe up there now for this Zen of stringing. So you can adapt
Anything will work with
any
this.
of these to your designs. And again, this is not going to be the last curated kit that's going to happen. So don't worry. I don't want everyone to be too disappointed if and when these guys sell out. We still have a few left, so at the end of this broadcast, if you're going to go ahead and grab that, I would do that then. No, it's good.
Okay.
So let me show you. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek of next week before we move the camera.
Okay, and it also
Okay.
comes with a beautiful organza bag.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
Where is that bag?
The bag is here.
Yeah, and you
Comes
can
with
keep
a
your
very-
necklace in it
Yeah, very
when it's
pretty
done.
bag.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
beautiful. So
And
you
Cara
just
picked
go
that
put
bag.
it. Yes, she did.
Cara Scopazzi.
And it's right there, done,
Done.
and done,
21 left.
and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 21 left. So I'm going to
Okay.
pull these lovelies to the side.
Yes.
And next week, you guys, we're going to kind of continue this riff. All right.
Yes.
And yeah, and
This
just
is a very cool
yeah.
riff.
And just to mention, if you do have the kit in your cart, you may want to just jump in and
Check
out, because being in your cart does not guarantee your piece until it's actually checked out. So Emily and I were playing around. We'd gotten some new, so some of these are brand new products that you guys haven't seen yet.
Do you want to?
We can do this now.
Why don't
Yep.
you do it now so anyone who
good
checks
idea.
out now will know what the.
And I'm going to do this a little earlier than we would normally. We're going to do a little, can you see it here? Which one? Oh, thanks,
Oh,
Bran. Right, sorry. If you're getting seed beads and Ceylon, and you have some of these guys at home, you can add homecoming to your order for 20% off. That ends at midnight tonight, all right, because this project is full of seed beads and Ceylon. And then if you make your order and we get it before 1 p.m. today, we have some of Janice's family reunion
Monthly mix.
monthly mix. We have a few of those left. We're going to toss them in a few of the orders just at random if you write reunion in your shipping notes.
I love that.
Okay? So
Mix.
that is, today is the 5th of December. And if you order before about 1 o'clock, go ahead and throw in reunion in there. And for those of you who ordered kind of during the showtime but checked out earlier, don't worry, we got you. We'll put all you guys in, and we'll throw some in randomly. So we just have a few of Janice's family reunion to throw in.
So
okay?
you're going to show everyone what is coming
So
up for
this is
next
coming
week.
up next week. So let me turn it here towards you guys so you can see this. So
These are just so fun.
and there's a third colorway that's going to happen with these. And you guys saw me talk about it a little bit last week when I wasn't remembering that we were doing this week. I can't keep my days straight. But this is kind of my take on, again, what we used to call at the shop when we had the brick and mortar, we'd call this an advanced stringing project, right? So this is going to be really similar. We're going to use the Ceylon here. We're going to use the fine Ceylon. And I'm not leaving any space here. Emily strung these up for me. I think she did such a beautiful job. All of this new stuff, the pendants, these new bone beads and stuff, they're going to be launching next week. So you can't find them on the website yet. But it all came from, this is a piece of mine that I strung a while back. This has beads from years and years ago, okay? There was a bead table, before I came back on board here at Bead Shop, there was a bead table
challenge?
well, I think it was, you sat down with the staff and you guys made
Yes.
things. And you
Yes.
talked about color and you talked about color story and stuff like that. And I had always been keeping up with what was going on here. And so I read the blog and I thought, that's just like beading like we used to do in the old days. And I'll be honest, Janice, when
And
I strung
want
this,
to come back and to Bead Shop. I miss it.
right?
Yes.
You want to come back?
You wanted
Well,
to come back.
I
and that's what
did.
said.
Yeah, I
wanna
did.
come back.
I did say that.
I miss it.
I miss it. So to be honest, I hadn't strung a necklace in years.
Yeah.
Years. And then I strung this one up. So this kind of advanced stringing, next week I'm going to talk to you about how we color palette, again, how I lay something like this out, and we're going to examine how we add different, like, kind of ready-made pendants. Today we use that one with the ring, but we're going to talk about how we use pendants that have larger shanks, stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty fun, I
Yeah.
think, for that. So that's coming up next week,
Wednesday,
next
yeah.
Wednesday. So that's a little
Yeah.
trick, and we're going to do kind of that button
And
loop.
is Emily going to be here?
She's not going to be here. She's going to be here. Or is that when you're coming? Are
I
you
thought
coming next week?
Is Emily coming next week?
Type in. I thought she was coming the week after. I'm not sure. She may be. Emily, type in
Emily,
the comments.
anyone?
Anyone?
Are you there?
Anyone? Anyone? All right.
Okay.
Well, so that's the fun we're going to be having next week.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and move this camera around. And I know you guys have been talking about this announcement.
Yes. Yes.
So we're gonna talk a little more about that in just a second.
And we did get a request to see the necklace on.
Okay, yeah, we'll hold it
Okay.
up. Let me, I'm going to give this to Brandon. Yeah, and Emily, you are going to be here next week.
That's what I thought.
Right?
Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're right. So that's great. Yes. Perfect.
I knew. See,
I can't
all
remember.
all you oldies out there, we do.
I can't remember
We
what's
do,
going on.
you know.
There we go. Lighting that. Okay. So there it is on with you.
Right, and
Looks
I made
great.
it for me.
You
I
did.
mean, I made it for my,
Your length.
for the length that,
And some of you that have been checking out or asking, if you did check out earlier in the show, you guys, don't worry. We have a few of the reunions. We're going to do kind of a random draw, and so don't worry if we're not going to.
could you wear
you're
it
going
too?
to double.
Could you wear it?
Well,
No, it's too, no.
It might be a little much.
But isn't this lovely?
It is lovely. It looks great, and it's the right. So notice how you guys on the front view with Janice, how that these beads, and I talked about it earlier, how you really want to make sure that like these beads, we wouldn't want them to
Yeah.
like end up right here next to our neck, or you know somewhere
Where is
where it
yours?
wouldn't be. It's still on the board.
Do you want to hold it up?
Well, maybe we
Okay,
can.
you chat while I get it
Okay,
off
you
the
get
board.
it off the board. But something like this with her other zen of stringing, you can see, you know, you can make it a little bit longer. With a piece like this,
Yeah.
you don't want it to be, you know, either longer or higher. You don't maybe want it to land right in the center of your chest. So it just depends on, you know, it's like that couture outfit. Whoops. You don't want things, you have to try things on to make sure that they fit with these fancy necklaces. So don't be afraid to take it off the board like Janice is doing now.
Right. Take it off the board.
Off the board, off the board. There we go. There we are. And so you can see what I would start doing, and whoops, I've taken the comments away. Let me see here. There we go. Okay.
So here's
And so
yours.
here's mine. So I would probably say that this,
You could get one more.
yeah,
You could get
one more.
You could get this one here, and that would be it. You couldn't go up here.
So I could add this one there. I could add like these two, and then I could bookend it with this maybe up here,
Right,
because
right.
it's a little more flexible.
Right, because you want something to be able
To
to curve
curve.
around your neck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks
And
great.
so, yeah.
Looks
So
great.
this I think is going to do it.
Yeah.
So before we go,
Yes.
Janice and I are going to be on later. We're going to do a special Facebook Live. I know we're teasing you one more time.
What time do you think?
We're going to do, I don't know, probably about maybe 3:30-ish.
Okay, 3:30
Pacific time.
time.
We're going to come back on with a live. We may or may not be remote, and it may or may not have something to do with
With a
what I
key.
have in my
A
hand.
kitty key.
You never know. So, we'll be back a little bit later
Yeah,
today.
if you're around, you're just sitting, doing, like relaxing.
We'll go live.
Chilling. Join us.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting.
It is. It is.
So I'm
Really.
sorry to teach you one more time, but we really, really want to want to show you
Yeah.
in the place where we want to be.
Yes.
Exactly.
Nudge,
you guys,
nudge, wink, wink.
wink, wink. So you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for supporting this kit. Janice, you did an incredible job
Thank
of
you.
paletting.
Thank
I mean,
you.
she's been working on this since August, and it really shows.
Yeah,
it's really,
it really
gorgeous.
was a labor of love.
So we're really stoked that you guys loved it. So this will not be our last rodeo on these curated collections.
We would like to know your feedback, though,
Mhm.
that if there are things that you, as you're opening it and you're working with it, that you would love to see us improve on, give us feedback.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
We'd love to know. Drea gets all of those at info@beadshop.com, and let us know.
Let us know
okay?
how this goes,
Yeah.
and we would love to see your finished projects. So if you are not a part of our bead shop group on Facebook, it's called the Bead Table, and you just search it, Bead Shop, the Bead Table. Go ahead and answer 3 little questions, and we'll jury you in just to keep out spammers or to make sure that you're a real beader. And there's lots of great info over there, and I know a lot of you are going to be posting your finished creations over there. So please, please, please do that and post them. We really want to see what you
Yes.
make. So, Brandon, fantastic camera work
Great-
today. You
great
got
job.
a lot of great compliments Janice, you got a lot of great compliments on your hair. You
Oh,
look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You look great. There we are.
Thank you so much.
And you guys, we'll see you. I know we're stinkers. Everyone's calling us
and
stinkers.
It's called a kitty key because there's a kitty on it.
There's a
kitty
kitty
on
on
it.
it.
There's a kitty
Right
on it.
there. We will see you guys at about 3:30 for our second live broadcast
Yes.
of the day. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.